All right, good morning, everybody. We'll get started here in just a few minutes, okay? Hope everybody's doing good out there. And if you want, please let me know you can hear me okay, and that would be great. Check the technology, and again, we'll get started in about a minute. Thank you. All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Stock Analysis Friday. It is November 3rd, 2023. All right, this is a webinar or an event where you can go ahead and type in a stock or an ETF in caps in the comments area. And I will look that up. I will apply my analysis based on our software tools, and we'll take it from there, okay? So go ahead and start typing in stocks at any time. I'm going to go through a few administrational items I have to go through before we begin the event. But other than that, we are good to go. All right. So first thing I have to talk about are the risks involved in trading. Like I always say, without those risks, there are no opportunities. So the two really go hand in hand. But you need to be aware of the risks because they are out there. It is possible to lose some or all of your money trading the financial markets. You could do everything right and still end up on the wrong side of the trade. It's a probabilities game. So again, you need to have a good risk control program, and please always trade with money you can afford to risk, called risk capital. Now, when we look at stocks today or talk about the markets, please understand, I don't know your personal situation. So some of my recommendations may not be suitable for you. So please always run those by your financial advisor or whoever helps you manage your money to be sure they're suitable for you. There's many things that go into making sure a stock or a trade is suitable. So definitely check with them. All right, now if you need help on risk control, I've got a variety of books available on money management, and I'll put the link up in the recording area. Okay, so when after this event is over, I'll put a link down below the recording where you can access our books, or you can just go to our website and do it that way. All right, so that's a possibility. And we have a new book coming out, The Art of Trading, being published by Wiley Publishers. This is my second edition on the book. My first book came out in 2008. So we're due for an upgrade, and it's going to be, I think, the best book I've ever written. So you may want to go ahead and order that as well. And again, that link will be below the recording. Elliott Wave Techniques is a book on, of course, a form of technical analysis called the Elliott Wave. I've been studying that for a long, long time, probably going on 30 years now. So there's some great information in that book as well as all our books. All right, now when we look at charts today, my chart may not look exactly like yours because I have a lot of software loaded on it that I created over my lifetime of trading the markets. So I've got something called the ART, or Applied Reality Trading Software, running on charts, along with the OWL, PTF, TLM, and ERI. Then I have scanners. We probably won't use the scanners today because you're going to be giving me stocks, right? And then below that, I have our risk control software. So that keeps us straight and honest, so to speak, on each and every trade with our trade size. And also, too, we have a piece of software which is really good called a Trader's Assistant. And this software basically analyzes how your trading is doing. So you may want to check that out as well. And then finally, please like, subscribe, or share us with others. That's really important. It grows the channel. So I want everybody to take just a quick second right now and like us, okay? Right now, everybody that's here, like us. I'll probably ask you to do that again a little later on, but it does make a difference. All right, so let me come out of here and let's go ahead and jump into my trading platform. And let me just quickly go over this before we get involved so you know what you're looking at. On the top of the charting platform, you'll see a whole bunch of scanners running up here. All right, so those are our scanners working, and they're real-time scanners, and you can load those with all sorts of different markets like the NASDAQ 100 or the S&P 500 or just futures, or perhaps you want to load them with cryptos, or perhaps whatever, Forex, okay? Whatever you trade, you can load those into the scanner and they will do the hard work and find the best trades up there. So that is something that we use each and every week when we formulate all our stock trades as well as some of our future trades. All right, then you're looking at 3 charts here, all of the same stock. So I happen to have an ETF called GBTC loaded, but notice that is on all time frames. And we're going to go over GBTC in just a minute. So this is called multiple time frame analysis. So whenever I look up a stock or an ETF that you give me, I'm going to see it on 3 different time frames. And the time frame on the right is the weekly time frame. This gives us a long-term look at what you're asking me to analyze. And every price bar here represents a full week of activity. So it's called a long-term chart and cuts a lot of the noise out that you can experience each and every day in the trading market and summarizes it. And then in the center chart is our daily chart. This is the most common chart you'll see, for example, when you go to a website like Yahoo Finance or something of that nature. They usually start out showing you the daily chart, where this is obviously each price bar represents that day's activity of trading. And then on the far left, we have the 60-minute chart. And this chart here is technically an intraday chart because each price bar represents an hour or 60 minutes. So it kind of gives us a glimpse into the internal dynamics that's occurring within the day, okay, that we're looking at. So that's a good chart to look at for the short-term aspect. Now, you'll see symbols on our chart that you may not have there at your chart, of course, and that is these little P's, and I'll enlarge those. Those are our pyramid trading points. You can see them in action. And what they do is they always point in the direction of the trend. And we can use those for entries, exits, and risk control, scaling out. And then under that, we have the OWL, which stands for the Optimum Wave Locator. There's the title right there. And this measures momentum in the market. It helps us count the Elliott wave. Under that's the PTF, which is a great little indicator, indicating if there's going to be more highs or not with a 75% probability when it ain't too bad in the markets, right? And then under that, we have the TLM, which is the trend line master, giving us trend direction. And then under that is the ERI, which is our emotional reader index, which measures greed and fear in the market. So you can see right now on the ERI down here that we have a little bit of red showing. And what that means is we're getting close to a greed bar. And basically what that means is that, if you drew a trend line like this, prices are getting far away from the trend line, so it's time for it to return back to the norm. So when markets get bubbly or manic, you'll start to see greed bars when they break away to the upside, and fear bars when they break away to the downside. So that's what that indicator does, gives us a heads up that we're getting mature in the trend, and we can also use that for scaling out or exiting the market at times as well. All right, so those are the all the charting systems that we use on the charts. And now let me just quickly go over GBTC. And one more thing is we are using the Ninja Trader charting platform. We find that to be a really good charting platform and very easy to use and read. All right, so here's GBT. GBTC is the ETF for Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's a crypto, and you know, it's done real well. We recommended this a while back, I think a little bit around $10, maybe a little bit under, and we're at 27. So wow, that's done really good. I don't think it's done yet. Now, we probably will get a pullback, so don't be surprised at that. And you can figure out when you know, pullbacks are profit taking as long as they aren't what? A change in trend, right? So we don't think we're going to get a change in trend on this. We think we have a major bottom here on the chart on the far right, which is our weekly chart here. But that doesn't mean it just keeps going straight up forever. You know how the markets are, right? They go up, they pull back, they go up, pull back, they go up, pull back. That zigzagging is the human emotion of both fear and greed and profit taking. And so we're kind of in an area now where cryptos have gone up quite a bit. This leg up here is pretty dramatic. So it's probably time for some form of profit taking coming in. And what we can do is draw the Fibonacci retracement. And if you want to learn how to draw these, we have courses on this, and I also have information in our Elliott Wave book on how to do this. But basically, if this were to pull back at this point, usually you pull back between those two blue lines, which represent the fib retracement area of 38.2 to 61.8. I'm not saying that's going to happen right now. We may go a teeny bit higher, but that's kind of something you got to be aware of. If you jump in now on Bitcoin, we may be subject to a little bit of a pullback. So what does that mean to you? Well, it might mean that if you like Bitcoin and you're not in it yet, you may want to wait for that pullback and get a better price because it's at 27. You might be able to get in at 23, 24, all right, right around there, all right? Or if you wanted to go in a little bit now, all right, and then wait and go in with the rest later on the pullback, best of both worlds. You won't miss any further price increase unless it goes up quite a bit before the pullback. Yet at the same time, you can also add more in if it does pull back. So kind of a win-win situation. Anyway, just so you know, we're really bullish on Bitcoin across the board. The only thing you've got to be careful about is being okay with putting your stop. Your stop needs to be put around 21 bucks, okay? You need to get that low enough to get it under that fib retracement at the very least. So I'll put that down as a buy with a stop right around 21, okay? All right, let's see what you guys got for me this morning. All right, we've got some info coming in today. Good morning, Gene. How you doing out there? Al, good morning. Let's see what Al's got for us. Okay, Al, you have quite a few here, so let's go through them. AEO. All right, so let me bring up AEO and take a look at that. Now, I'm not sure what you're doing with these, okay, but this is definitely bullish, okay. I'd be a little concerned getting in because, you know, a couple things here. One is we're starting to see bearish divergence. Now, bearish divergence is when our OWL momentum indicator, all right, is sloping down from the previous hump to the current hump. So that previous hump represents this leg up. Then we had some profit taking. There you go, right? And now we've got this next leg up after the profit taking. So in terms of some form of small Elliott wave count, maybe a 3, 4, 5, possibly an ABC even, but I think that's a 3, 4, 5. So, you know, now there's 5 waves in a trend according to Elliott wave. So we may be in the final area of the trend. So we kind of got to be a little careful. Let's see what the weekly chart says. Similar, okay? Bearish divergence as well, okay? And here we have a green PTF on the 60 minutes. So let's go to this short time frame over here. So let's go from here all the way over here. Now, this is showing something a little different. So this is showing the green PTF, remember 75% accuracy rate, is saying that we're going to have more highs. So find the highest high in the green area, and I think that's where prices were just yesterday. Chances are we'll get above that. All right, so looks like we're going to make a few tidbit more highs before we have any profit taking, so that's good. My only thing here is, let me just open up that 5-minute chart. All right, pretty messy. What a roly-poly chart that is. Okay, tough to get an Elliott wave count off that, right? Wow, you have to even go longer time frames, and this goes back to 2012, so that's good. All right, so where is this going? Hard to tell. All right, so for that reason, I'm not going to put it on the buy list. Also, it's a little mature on the trend, and you get bearish divergence. So you can keep an eye on it, but I'm not going to recommend this one as a buy. All right, let's take a look at your next one, YETI, Yeti. All right, and bring that up. All right, so let's see what we're cooking on this one. All right, first thing I'm doing, I'm just going to open up this long-term chart. Okay, I think what you're looking at here is this motion here is a possible bottom, and from this you're hoping, I think it goes like that, right? You're thinking long. Okay, so okay, I get that, but what you got to be careful about this is entry. So let's see what we've got cooking here. Very interesting. All right, so let's just grab a horizontal line for a minute, okay, and move that up here. And we did get a little breakout from this compression. So usually what I like to do is not go long until we get some type of breakout when I show up and see some type of configuration. So you got that. But then look what happened. Boom, came back in. Now, is that profit taking? Possible. All right. Not really sure because we really haven't broken out enough to really classify this as a possible trend. What I'd like to see is have this go up and break out again. All right, get it above the current high that occurred here now. So now we can move that red line up a tidbit because now you got a higher high up here. So probably a good idea to wait for that to break out above that high. And then I think probably you're good to go for quite some time. All right, so I kind of hold off on this one, I think. All right, for right now. And wait for the breakout, but let's see if the lower time frames are not helping us either really here. We still got some bearishness here, got a little bit of a turnaround coming on the 60-minute, but not enough to warrant an entry for a long trade. Let's take a look at your next one, BURL. And Jen, then I'll get to yours. I see yours coming up next. All right, so on BURL, all right, nice move down, nice possible bottom, but again, let's just make sure that 60-minute chart, it may have rolled over to a green PTF, and it did. Okay, look at this. So just a sliver of green now coming in. So that's a good sign. You've got a gap on this chart. You may fill that gap at some point before it goes higher. That happens, you know, usually, especially in the beginning, middle, or end of a trend. What I like about this one, let's open up that weekly chart, is this bottom looks like it held to me. So let's go grab another horizontal line here and put it at this bottom here. And yeah, you can see it held. That's a big deal. All right. And we're getting a green pyramid here. We still got a little red momentum here, no longer a red PTF. So that ain't bad. All right. That, as the saying goes, that ain't bad. Let's see what the daily charts are showing. We got a pyramid here, a pyramid here. Okay. So since this is no longer red on the 60-minute, we got a little red here. All right, what I'd like to see, let me just see, that's a good sign that it came down here. All right, you got two options here. You had one little move up, down, and then you took out this high. So that's why the pyramid formed, giving you a possible long trade. The other thing you can wait to do if you want to be super conservative is wait for a little more follow through, pull back, and then go. Okay, here, that's a possibility as well. But this is definitely warranting for an early entry simply because we have a green PTF on that 60-minute chart. We're going higher. So that will probably eventually turn the owl green on the daily chart. Now, where is this going? That's the next question. All right, well, if this is a bottom here, and this is your first one, ABC 2, then we could be taking off for 3. So I think the risk to reward warrants a possible entry here. So I'm going to put this one down as a go. Okay, BURL. All right, I think an early entry, a little risky with the early entry, but again, it's all about risk to reward. So I think this is there on that. All right, let's take a look at PEP. Now, a couple things I want to talk about in general here. You know, a lot of people say, you know, how do I analyze charts so quickly? When I'm looking at things, I can usually tell if you should be long, short, or out of the market fairly quickly, right? And that's because I've been doing this a long time, but also because I've got all the rules of my trading so ingrained in my mind that it's automatic. All right. And that's where you want to get as a trader. And it takes time for that to develop. So first you have to find an edge, and then you have to make it yours. And it's kind of like, you know, playing music or doing anything like that. Martial arts, for example, takes time to ingrain that into your psyche, so to speak. But once it's there, then the analysis becomes very systematic, but automatic and very quick when you look at a chart. All right, so let's take a look at this one. And right away, I'm seeing red PTFs in the long time frame, medium, but green on the short. So what does that mean? All right, well, first of all, let's take a look at this thing and see what happened here. So we had a move down here that just dropped like a ton of bricks. So I don't think it's over yet. Okay, so we've got a bottom here with the red PTF indicating more lows coming. This, on the other hand, is indicating more highs. So what are we doing? Well, we're in a bullish profit-taking zone for short cover. That's what that means. And it's not over yet. So chances are, okay, we'll get in between these two blue lines, which doesn't really make for a long trade because we're almost there, right? But I'm thinking in between 169 to 178 before this thing starts to sell off again and make the red PTFs on the other time frames accurate, okay? So short term, going up to the target zone. A little bit longer term, meaning short term over the next week or so. Longer term past that, probably more selling. So no long trade on this one. All right, and then let's finally take a look at the Dow. All right, so Dow, again, popped up, but then went below. We had this little bit of an area here where we were watching for any type of targeting here. We went a little bit above it, and now we've gone below it again. So very interesting. We no longer have red PTFs, okay? We have a move off the bottom here. And, you know, again, let's see what happens with this. But if you look back here in October, all right, that bottom held, we came down. So maybe we're heading back up for a while, okay? So not bullish yet, okay? We're still got some active pyramids in a row here. So those flat parts of the triangles are what we want to see prices to get above before considering a long trade here. But in terms of your short position here, you could have scaled out when this went yellow here, and this is bullish on the short-term time frame. So I need to see a little more follow-through before I get excited. I also would like to see a pullback here at some point. Let's say it goes back up here, pull back, and then maybe we can get an entry, you know, sometime in this area. So I kind of would wait off on that. Plus, you still got a pretty healthy red PTF on both the daily and the weekly. All right, so this may be just a slight pull up before you get some pullback on that. So, okay, so that's it for Al. Al, good job, good hits. Let's take a look, Jim, at yours. All right, USO. That is the crude oil ETF. And I'm glad you're looking at this one because I wanted to look at this myself. All right, now, I'm bullish on crude oil. I think it's going higher. I think we're in a little bit of a realm of a pullback here. You know, notice we had this little profit taking. We had this, and now we get some more profit taking. So I think we may head down one more time into this target zone. So this would be, you know, an impulsive move up. We'll call it just a 3. This is a 4 that may still be unfolding. And then 5 will take it back up to the top. My target, excuse me, my target on crude oil on the USO is between 98 and 123. And we are at 75.5 roughly, 0.66. So I'm thinking more highs coming on this bad boy, okay? So that's kind of where we're at on that. So keep that in mind, and there you have it, okay? There you have it. So let's take a look at your next one here, UNG. Oh, and by the way, I would not, let me just go back to this real quick. By the way, just if you're thinking about buying this, let's wait, and it's still heading down, wait for the turnaround. So I wouldn't put this on a new buy list. If you're already in it, don't have your stops so close unless your goal was just to trade this move up here, because you would have been stopped out on the pyramids. If you're in it and you want to just stay in it for a long-term trade, kind of like a trade based on what we're seeing on the weekly chart, then you want to have your stop, I would say, under 69, okay? So another 6 or 7 points below where prices are now, just because if it comes back into that target zone, you don't want to get stopped out, right? All right, so let's take a look at our next ETF. These are good ones, Jim. UNG, and that is the natural gas, all right, ETF. All right, so this is kind of an interesting one. All right, so if you went in early, all right, and got caught in the sideways motion here, that is what happens when sometimes you go in early. All right. Hey, you never know when it's going to go like that versus a V-shaped bottom and take off. So that's the proponent of why you would go in as early as you can, right? However, now that it's going sideways, we have a different thing to take a look at. So we have the high of the channel. I'm just going to grab once again, my horizontal lines here. So you have the high of the channel sitting here, right? And we kind of would like it to break above that. Now, what the pyramids are doing here, okay? Notice these are blue in color. We got one pointing up and one pointing down. This is the beauty of these pyramids, is that they've isolated the channel for you, the current channel. So if we get a break above the point of this blue colored pyramid here, that's going to turn green, paint it as a P, confirm it, and give you a trade entry. And I would take that. You're close enough to the red line at that point that if prices have that much oomph to get above there, chances are they're going to go above that red line. So it'll give you a little bit of an early entry. However, all right, let's say prices falter and come back down, all right, then this blue colored pyramid will disappear and this red one will come into play, indicating a move down. All right, so then you don't want to buy. So I would not buy this now until this, and I would be more biased to the long side. I would not take a short trade here because I think this may be a bottom, but we may have a little bit more of a situation like that. So I would not sell it if the market moves down past below the point of that pyramid facing down. I would just wait, but I would buy it if it goes up here or even breaks here at some point in the future. So I would put this is a great one for a watch list right now. All right. And let's see what happens with that. Now, if you're in it already and got in early, the luxury you have is you were able to put your stop at the bottom. And so you'd still be in this, but you're stuck in that channel. Okay. So either way, all right, you should get paid well for this on the next move up, because I think this is going to soar at some point. Okay, so that's my analysis on UNG. Let's go to MDY. All right, so here's MDY, a little on the messy side based on the long-term charts. You see that? Look at that. Let's open this up here. All right, so a little messy. So when you see this kind of roly-poly environment on a stock, what makes that hard to trade is because if you're trying to trail your stops and be as prudent as possible to protect your profits, the volatility here will get you out of the market. You'll be stopped out. So it makes it a tough market to trade. Now, with that said, you know, you have a bottom possibly here. So if this is maybe a 3, you may have a 4, you may be in that situation. Hard to say, okay, because it's not a very clear chart. But this wave here is definitely an impulsive wave. I mean, there's just no way you can miss that. Look at the slope. All right. And then profit taking, messy profit taking. So when you see a messy chart like this on this time frame, if you're trading long term, you got to give your stop a lot of leeway or use an option. Okay. That's another way, but make sure you use risk control even with your option. Nice thing about an option is you can buy a call or something and not worry about where your stop is. So therefore that roly-poly motion doesn't affect you as much, right? All right, let's take a look at the daily chart. Not seeing a lot of things there. We're getting a nice perk up on the 60-minute chart. That is true. I think what I don't like about this is the roly-poly nature. So I'm going to pass on this, okay? The only time frame you could possibly trade is the 60-minute on this. That's the only possible time frame. But right now with the roly-poliness, I'm not sure what the target's going to be, all right? So I personally would pass on this. Let's take a look at IWM. Now, of course, we've looked at this one before. And this one moved down, and get loaded this. It made a new bottom. Look at that. All right. Wow. Okay. So that moved down big time. Okay. And now we're getting a move off that bottom. Interestingly enough, we have no more red PTFs. Let me just remove some of these previous drawing tools. Okay, so let's open up that weekly chart again. And again, you can see right away, the impulsive wave is obvious. And then now we're into hopefully a wave 4 bottom, right? But look at this, kind of messy until it decides the direction it wants to go. So again, as soon as I see this, I kind of slide away. We still got to move down. All right. Technically, this pyramid was not, I don't think, taken out yet. So we'll see. All right, if there, how much follow through there is on this. So one day does not necessarily make a change in trend. All right, but that is certainly a very aggressive day. So there's some news that came out, obviously, or something happened that was good on the market that this index tracks, okay? So there you have it. Would I trade it right now? 60 minutes, it's already gotten away from us. Probably not, okay? Probably not. All right, TLT. Oh, this is another good one. This is the bond ETF that we've been watching, and we got to spring up finally off the bottom of here. Now, a couple things. This is a great one for how the PTF works. Now, remember, the PTF is down here, okay? So a lot of people were saying buy in here, and my PTF was telling me not to buy, all right? So I was getting a lot of emails saying, oh, the PTF's wrong, the PTF's wrong. Well, look what happened, all right? It's amazing, you know, trading's a marathon, right? So it turned over and took out that low, and the PTF was actually correct. So it kept me out of a losing trade to the long side, all right? But now let's see what's happening. So we have a yellow PTF, so it's neutral. You can go long or short on a yellow. So we got yellows here. We got a nice bottom here, possibly. All right, this is moving up. I like that. This is moving up. I like that. This is already moved up. So remember, this is the short time frame. So this is going to move quicker than the longer time frames. In terms of you boaters out there, think of the weekly chart as an aircraft carrier. Think of the short-term chart as your fast frigates, destroyers, and smaller ships that can turn quicker. So that's what happened here. It turned quicker, right? The daily chart can be your cruiser, okay? It turns turns quicker than the aircraft carrier, but not as quick as some of the smaller ships. All right, so what do you do with this? Well, again, let's see what kind of follow through it comes here. So this is a good sign, and we'll certainly see what develops on this. I see a couple of pretty good scenarios here. Let's just open up the weekly chart here. All right, you can see a big move down that started way back around 20, okay, the year 2000 rather, okay? So we've been waiting for a bottom, and you had a possible one here, it turned around and came down. One here, turned around, came down. So now, all right, we're on another phase. Is this turnaround real or not? Okay, we'll give it a little time to prove itself, but maybe it is. Okay, not saying no. I don't know if I would jump into this yet because I'd like to see another week of activity, see if this goes up, fills the gap a little bit, and see. You're not going to miss it, because if this is a major bottom, there's going to be plenty of profit there. So if you have to wait 5 or 6 points for it to prove itself, that's not a big deal. I want to put TLT on a watch list. It is a buy on the 60-minute. Okay, so that is definitely a buy there. Okay, so that met its configurations. I just would like to see that momentum change over. That to me is important. Looks like we may have gotten above that pyramid here. So if you were short, you'd be stopped out, but you don't yet have a pyramid to the long side. So you can wait for that pyramid on the daily chart for the long side. You have it on the 60-minute, so that clears the way for a trade maybe over the next few days. But a longer term trade would have to wait for the daily chart. Let me just click up here for a quick second. And let's just take a look at, if this is a temporary trend, where would this be going? All right, well, we're already in that target there. If it's something a little bit more intense, you got a little more room to go. All right, and if this is a bottom, it's got a lot of room to go, and it'll eventually turn over the daily chart. So I would watch this like a hawk at this time. If you wanted to take a trade on the smaller time frame, you could. You're getting in a little late. Okay, the pyramid entry would have been just right at the gap open, but that's okay. The problem is that your profit will be dependent upon how high this thing goes before it pulls back. All right, so I'm not going to recommend it, but it's certainly on a watch list for a longer, more significant trade. Let it unwind a little bit more. Excellent ones to look at, Jim. Thank you. All right, let's keep going here. All right, so let me just see. I got to back up and make sure I get all these correct. All right, let me see. Okay, so let's see. Give me 1 second, guys. A lot of stocks are coming in. We looked at those. All right, Jim, I think we're back to you maybe on Apple, right? So let's take a look at Apple here. All right. So Apple, all right, came up, came down, and now we're kind of seeing some bullishness possibly coming back into it. And let's see. All right, so let's open up that weekly chart. And this was our area we expected this pullback to come back to. So that's a good sign. And now we're looking to see exactly what the possibilities are here. All right, we've had a long move up on Apple for sure. All right, 3, I would say probably if we looked at, let's jump this out really quick here and take a look at that weekly chart again. I want to kind of see where we're at there. Okay, so there we are there. I'm trying to determine, we've got pretty high owls all along the way. So yeah, all right, so the only thing is this a major top or a temporary one? And it could be a major top, all right, because we have bearish divergence, ever so slight here, and a big strong move up here. So we could be at a significant top here. So you kind of got to be careful on a long trade. You may just get a slight retracement on this one. On this, it looks like, let me just take a look here. See, this is tricky here. This looks like a wave 3, okay, very impulsive for sure. Wave 5s usually don't look like that. However, the owls are indicating bearish divergence, which is usually what you see between a wave 3 and a wave 5. So you got to be careful here, a little bit iffy here. So it's possible this could be a wave 3 inside a major wave 5, and if that's the case, you have one more high before we come to an end here. So, that's a possibility, and you're seeing green across the board here. You don't have a pyramid, bullish pyramid yet here, and you have a bounce off here. So I'm thinking here, it looks like it pulled back a little bit today, but now it may be coming back up. You've got a green PTF on the 60 for more immediate highs. So I'm thinking if you wanted to go long here and jump the gun a little bit, you could do that. Put your stop, give this stop a little leeway, put it under 163, right around 163, and see if you can catch this next trend up. So I'm going to put this on a buy, all right? It's not absolutely perfect, but if you get one more high, you'll do really well on this, and if you don't, you're going to get stopped out. So that's the risk you take on that. I'm kind of more bullish on the NASDAQ right now, even though I'm expecting a huge sell-off in the market over the next 12 months. I think NASDAQ is not quite ready to do that yet, but I could be wrong, okay? So let's keep an eye on that. All right, Hal, back to you. HLF. All right, so interesting, all right? We had a move off the bottom, now we got a red PTF. So the red PTF is saying, you know, we're probably going to come back down below this low here. And certainly we had a bearish price bar so far today. Is this a bottom? Hey, it certainly could be. If this bottom holds, all right, especially over here, a little more leeway there, we're in pretty good shape, right? But this is red. So that concerns me, all right? If you're in this, it's going to be a nail biter to see if that bottom holds. So I would not go into this yet with the red PTFs. If you're in it already, you got to have that stop below the bottom. That's the only way you'll ensure that maybe you have a bottom in there. And if so, you'll still hang in there. If you're new with the red PTFs, no reason to go in yet. Okay, wait for that things to shake out. All right, USO, we looked at already, Al, so I think we're good on that. ExxonMobil, XOM, let's see what that bad boy is doing. All right, I know you're thinking of shorts on here, okay? So you got the reds, So a quick way of knowing if something is good for a short is look at the PTFs first across all three time frames. You got a green one on the short time frame, right? So even though the dominant trend is down based on the PTFs on the longer time frames, you're having a little bit of a correction to the upside here. You know, call it profit taking, call it whatever you want. But the bottom line is if you're considering going short, you want to wait for that 60-minute chart to turn bearish. So I wouldn't go short on this one yet. Okay. Let's see what else you got. MCK. All right, same thing here. I look at the PTFs and I wouldn't consider any of these for shorts, not with a green PTF right now, okay? All right, so just wait on those. Doesn't mean a short's not around the corner because eventually this move up will end, but not now, okay? All right, Frank is saying Santa came early this year. Yes, we are in rally mode right now. All right, let's take a look, Lowell, at yours, TNK. TNK. Now, I got a question to ask you guys, all right? I love all the stocks, okay? I can stay here for as long as we need to, no problem there. I just want to make sure for the audience out there that you don't mind if somebody puts in a laundry list of stocks versus, you know, maybe a cap of 2 or 3 per person, all right? I don't mind, okay? I think it actually does us better to look at more stocks, and then whether you do it at one time or different ones, that's fine. But you know, just give us some feedback if you think that should be changed a little bit. Otherwise, we're just going to keep it like it is. All right, so here is TNK. All right, Lowell, thinking bullish. Okay, good. All right, so don't mind the thinking bullish. The problem is that we're in the target already. We looked at this before. You got green PTF, so you're going higher. The problem with the PTFs, though, being green, is that it's only yesterday's price bar on most of these time frames that it looks like it's going higher. So, you know, if you went in fresh right now, what are you talking about? Maybe 2 or 3 possible points here before the owls could turn yellow, or the PTFs could turn yellow. We got bearish divergence here. This is huge, all right? Huge, all right? That's a huge bullish chart over here, okay? For one thing, let's change this one. We had this one set on daily. Let's just change this one back to weekly here, all right? And it's definitely got some more legs to go in this move up, but you have bearish divergence building in the weekly time frame. Okay, so that's a problem. So I don't think I'd go in. I think it's a little late. All right, doesn't mean it couldn't go to 60 or 55, but the trade would have been better off, okay, months ago. So that's kind of my take on that. And you're even seeing a little bearish divergence, I think, on the daily, and when I know you are on the daily, but I think even on the 60. So I think we're due for a pullback, even though we may see another possible high here. Okay, let's take a look at your next one, INSW, and see where that's going. All right, bearish divergence, not, a little bit here, but technically not here yet because we don't have a higher high here. All right, so it's moving up on another leg. Let's open up this chart and see where a extension would drive us here. So I'm going to put it right about here to here to here. So you're looking probably 57 to 71. Okay. If you went in now on this chart, put your stop here, you have to have a good 2 to 1. You'd have to get it up there around in the 60s before you reach that objective. So, okay, that's a stretch. Okay. You're getting a nice entry on this time frame. On the 60-minute chart, it's time for some profit taking. So probably going to get a little pullback here, but I think after that pullback, you'll get a continuation. So, if you wanted to buy now, hoping it will get into the upper 60s for your 2 to 1, you could certainly do it, or you could wait for possibly a slight pullback. But I will put this one on the buy list with a little caveat that you could also wait for a pullback. Okay. All right. So that's INSW. So SWBI. SWBI. Let's see what that is looking like. All right. So first thing, let's open up this. All right. Big move up here back in 2007, all the way down to the bottom during the financial crisis, and then rising from the ashes for a new high in 2016. COVID comes along, drives it down again, and now it's back up. And all right, so where is this going? All right, so in 2021, bleeding over to 2022, it created a high when the market peaked. Since then, it's been dropping off. You got a green PTF that says eventually in the years to come, and I say years because this is a long-term chart, we should start to move back up towards the high. All right, are we moving there now? Not sure yet. Okay, maybe pull back, maybe we do this. Also too, maybe it does this and then go. All right, so we need the lower time frames to help us a little bit. All right, so the lower time frames look pretty decent for bullishness here. Okay, again, I think we looked at this last week, made another quick little high, still's got a green PTF. So I still think we're going to get one more high on this particular move. But if you wanted to try this for a long-term trade, you could do that. All right. So let's put this one down as a buy. Your stop's got to be, this is long-term, okay? Your stop's got to be pretty low on this. All right. So if we think eventually in the next, let's say 5 years, we could get up here. All right. One thing, are you going to want your money tied up for that long? Okay. Well, then it's an investment almost, right? Based off technical analysis. You got to put your stop at least under here. Okay. Preferably here. And that gives you like a 5 to 1 risk to reward, which is huge. All right. So that's a possibility, but you're going to be in that one long time. Okay. So that's my take on that. All right. LI. Let's take a look at LI here and see how it goes. All right, so LI, not much history on this one. Hard to get an Elliott wave on the weekly chart. Also hard to get one on the daily chart. And a little bit better on this one. Let me open up the 60-minute for a minute. Okay, so current impulsive wave, pull back. We may have one more high there. That is possible. All right, so you got a green PTF, which is kind of really, and a green PTF's on both the time frames. So it looks like this high will be taken out. Wait for a green owl and then go long, okay? I think that might be not a bad idea. You got the pyramid, which I really like. All right. I think you got actually, I'm going to put this on the buy list. I think you got a bullish 60-minute chart. I think your target is going to be right around what, 47, 46. Put your stop if you can around 35, and there's your 2-to-1 risk to reward. So I think, yeah, I think this is okay. All right, LI. All right, let's take a look at ROKU, Roku. All right, give that a second to load. All right, jumping off its bottom. Okay, we're seeing this a lot, aren't we, in some of these stocks here? All right, so what I'd like to see is a pullback here, okay, before doing anything with it. Because on the weekly chart, you're still kind of in the channel. So maybe a pullback, you know, probably go a little higher because this is green over here. So a little higher, pullback, and then if you go in there, you'll have plenty of room to make it. All right, in terms of target for this, you know, maybe quite a bit. Okay, you can double your money on this one. Wait for the pullback just to make sure that this move up is for keeps. Okay, so this should go on your watch list, ROKU. All right, these are pretty good there. Who did this? Lowell, you did a good job on this. You are, okay, NM. See how that bad boy looks. All right, so this looks like it's in a possible wave 5 on the weekly chart. Not a lot of history though. All right, makes it a little tougher for these type of analysis when you don't have a lot of history. Let's go ahead and grab this, this, and this and see where the target is. Okay, so that's based off a fib extension where the target is going to be. So you're at 46, so the range is 51 to 66. Now, if it gets up into the 60s, okay, good trade, right? That's almost, you know, that's quite a bit of money, 50% return. However, if it fails at 51 and that's all it gets, then okay. Now, the PTF is green, so let's just grab a horizontal line real quick and put it at the top here, and that puts it in that target range. So we should at least get up to, I'm going to say around 52 based off the PTF, and of course, it could go higher. All right, so that's looking decent. We've had a little bit of a pullback. I like that. It looks to me, let's just make sure this pullback is over, okay? Let's go to the 60-minute chart. Let me open that one up. And let's just see if the pullback has retraced enough. So if I put it here and bring it here, ooh, boy, that's a tough call. All right, that's difficult when it's like this. Just barely kissed it. All right, ABC. Problem is here's your A, here's your B. Your C wave is a little shorter in distance than your A wave. So what we may have here instead is an A, B, C, and this could be a 1, 2, 3, or 3, 4, 5. So that's a tough call. All right, you've got a possibility where more lows are coming to put it into the target zone longer term. So I think probably in this particular point here, I don't think it's retraced enough. I mean, I could certainly be wrong, but we also have a bearish price bar today. So let's hold off, okay? Hold off on that one. But again, I'd put this on a watch list and let's see what happens with this. All right, good. Now let's take a look at yours here. AEL. Well, you guys are giving me a good workout today. AEL. AEL. Love it. All right, so let's open this one up here. All right, this is the weekly chart. So we're kind of hovering around its highs, right? Okay, so pretty strong owl still. All right, looks like it probably can go higher. All right, we had a gap up back in, July on this chart. So let me just see long. I don't think long on this. I'm not feeling it, okay? I don't like the gap there. It may fill that gap. So that may be at wave 3 mid gap. So after that, you get a wave 4 that could fill that, and then it might be good to go. So things are a little toppy here for me. Okay, so I would pass on this. Let's say WMT. Let's see how Walmart's doing. Not too shabby, right? Okay, so moving right up. All right, green PTF on the 60. Let's open up the weekly. And again, here's my problem with these, Alice. You have bearish divergence. You've got a trend that really started back, long-term trend in 2017. Is it better to get in here, or is it better to get in here, right? That's the problem, all right? It's more risky to get in after the big move up, and you've got a big move up here with bearish divergence on the owl here. And so it looks like a little bit higher, but it's Russian roulette, okay? It could end at any time, so I'm not going to recommend that one. All right, NE, let's take a look at NE here. All right, let's see what we got cooking here. Okay, so NE is bullish on the 60 minute, starting to turn around on the daily, and not much history here, but definitely a bullish run. All right, so momentum's coming down a little bit on the owl. All right. Could it make another high? Of course. One of the things I look for, okay, when we're getting this type of analysis is what I call the hook. All right. You got the hook here. All right. Usually you get a couple hooks before the end, at least one good one. So we got one good one here. So are we done, or are we going to go up one more time? Let's see if the lower time frames help us here. All right, so we got a 3 here coming up. We got a move down, and we got bullishness coming back in. Okay, so if I look at the 60-minute chart, that to me looks like wave 4 is completed. So if you had a wave 3 top here, 4 here, you might be inside a wave 3 here to finish it out, okay? So let's see if the retracements work there pretty good. I think they probably did. So let's draw a retracement in here. So you hit the target zone beautifully there. Let's draw an extension in here. And there's your target, and you have a green PTF. So I would make this a short-term 60-minute trade. All right, so NE 60-minute time frame, targets 57, we're at 50. Go ahead and put your stop as low as you can to have the 2-to-1 into the target zone, and you'll be in good shape here. I would not put the stop on the pyramid here, okay? All right, you need to go below that area. Try to put it right around in there, okay? Give it a 4-point spread, just under 46. And that still gives you enough 2-to-1 to get into the target zone at a reasonable level, okay? So I'm liking that, okay? Short-term trade, okay? Based on the clarity of the 60-minute chart. In E, let's see, OLLI. Okay, let's open up that weekly chart and get a quick take on it. All right, big move up, but big move down. All right, big move up. All right, big move down. All right, so this has got the highest owl here. So you did not have bearish divergence, right? Okay, so you had up, sloping up on the momentum and sloping up there. Okay, so this is a significant top. Now we had a big move down, maybe an ABC, and now we're climbing back up. So a couple things here, all right? Really tough one to figure out because there's not a lot of history. It only goes back to 5, 6 years, maybe 7 years. That's not a lot in the stock market. So we got to look at these lower time frames to see what's going on. And I'm trying to find a target. Long position, yeah, that's fine. But where's it going? All right, and I'm having a hard time with that. Okay, so you had a big move up here, move down, another move here. Is this going to take out the high here? Could be. It certainly could. All right. It also could get caught in a roly-poly motion. So it's not my favorite. Okay. 60-minute charts too broken away. So we can't use that. Prices are too extreme on the 60. So I'd pass on this. All right, let's take a look at GILD. GILD. All right, GILD, let's open up the weekly. My eyes go right away to the PTF, so that's showing target actually now up here. So this was an interesting one. So this triggered the PTF to go green here, okay? But now it's gone back up above here and it's staying green. So this becomes the new target. Now, a couple things on the PTF. The PTF basically just indicates whether there's a probability of the market making more highs in the direction of the color of the PTF. So if it's green, obviously, you find the highest high in that green area, and that becomes your target. It does not mean you can't have profit taking, you can't have a pullback, a correction before the PTF actually becomes correct. All right, so that's what you always got to consider. So PTFs are really helpful after you've had a big correction and it remains green, because then it shows you that there's a lot of movement up to the upside still possible. Let's go back and take a look a little bit more in depth on this one. So this is a nice clean chart, all right? Wow, 3, okay? All right, 4 looks like it's in with a basing pattern, and now we may be moving up. So that's not a bad looking pattern. Let's just check a few of the fib levels to make sure that it retraced enough, all right? So we'll draw that up from here, perfect, all right? Notice this was pretty messy though, lasted years in this target. You know, unfortunately with us, we don't really know after a correction if you're gonna get that type of roly-poly or a V shape. That's always the difficult part. So in any case, you got a bottom right about here. You got a nice move off the bottom, broke out all the levels here for support. It's giving you a little bit of a break to get in, and now it's moving back up. I'm thinking the target on this for a bullish trade could be way up here. Okay, so that's a pretty big deal. Okay, notice you got your little hook. Remember I was talking about hooks? Hook high. Okay, and then it sell off. So notice, you know, usually when you get this straight move up, you get your first pullback. There's no hook here, but here's the hook, right? So once you get the hook, that's usually that next high is the top. Not always, but usually. All right, so I'm liking this for a long trade. Green PTF, all right, but really the Elliott wave and the fibs are indicating a target of 120. Now, that's not going to happen tomorrow, okay? This is a long-term trade. You're getting the green light here for the most part. So I'm going to put this one down as a buy, okay? Long-term. Looks pretty good. Target on this is 120 to 161, and we're sitting at 82, so not too bad. All right, but you see, we had to go through a lot before we found one that was good. It's that needle in the haystack, right? All right, let's go ahead and take a look here at a few more. CROX. All right, I'm gonna open up that weekly chart first. Okay, big move up. All right, pretty sharp correction, right? So if this is a 1, this is a 2, 3, guess what? This kind of went in. Boy, let's just grab a horizontal line. I just want to make sure prices didn't retrace below that wave 1 top, because if it did, then that means, oh man, wrong device. Hold on. Where is that horizontal line? There it is. Okay. So boy, no, it didn't. Okay, it just missed it. So that technically could still be a wave 4. Only problem with this is a couple things. One is this also could be a wave 2 that's still unfolding. So if this is a 1, A, B, C, and then that's wave 2, and then off to the races we go with 3. All right, that's possible. All right, it could be a 3, deep 4, and 5, and we're all inside 5 here. Okay, now, when you have a deep retracement, that means you're going to have a shallow wave 5. So let's take a look at the extensions here and see where this is putting. Yeah, you see that's pretty shallow right there. Now, there are things called a failed wave 5. You have bearish divergence. Are we in that? It's possible. Okay, 3, 4 failed wave 5. It's possible. They occur when you get a very deep pullback. So there's a lot of things that are kind of iffy here. And too many iffies create doubt in the trade. That's just my feeling, okay? I do think possibly there's more highs possible, but you're going to have to wait a while for that. And I'm not feeling the love on the lower time frames. So I think I would pass on this one, okay? Let's take a look at DB. All right, DD, eyes go right away to green PTF on the weekly, red. You can see the sliver of red coming on the daily and a sliver of red now on the 60-minute. So on this here, all right, okay. Al's thinking about a short trade here. I think it's too late, okay? Now, if you get a rebound that keeps going up here, then you know, if you can put your stop here or wherever the rebound ends and you have a 2-to-1 down to the target here, okay. But you're going against this bad boy here, all right? So you definitely have to get out if you're going to trade just the PTFs. But I don't think the PTFs in the lower time frame are giving you enough of a target. And I think the sell-off is so has been underway for too long for you to just jump in and say you got in early. So I would not do this one, okay? All right, let's take a look at SRPT. So when you do stock analysis, looking for stocks like we're doing now, okay, there's really no shortcuts. You have to go through and analyze the charts. What gives us a shortcut, just as a FYI, is the scanners up here. So the scanners can scan the market where we look for things like PTFs, Elliott waves, and things like that. So if you have 500 S&P stocks, it's going to take a long time to go through all 500. So the scanner cuts that down and does the hard work to isolate on the best prospects. So that's kind of the way we use those scanners. So you have to have some form of scanning in order to be able to sort through these in a fairly concise way, right? All right, so let's see, you're thinking of a short here. Okay, so what I like about this at least, okay, is we've had a nice retracement here, right? Okay, so it's filling in that gap. All right, you still got red here, so there's your target. So your target is around 55, right? You've had a move up to 78.6. Not bad. All right. You've got a PTF an owl that's fairly extended here, okay, on the 60-minute chart. So usually these things, what they do is during a move up is they go green briefly and then roll back over. So we haven't seen the green yet, which right away creates suspect that maybe we're going to move up a little higher. So I got to be concerned about that. If I see it rolling over earlier on the smaller time frames, okay, and how would I determine that? Well, there's a variety of ways. You still got a very strong owl here, so you might not get much of a move up yet. You also have an inside price bar forming today. So on Monday, if we break below that, then you're probably going down for a while, at least 2 to 5 price bars anyway, and that may be enough. So let's just take a look and see here. Let's open up the 60-minute chart. I'm not really concerned long-term on this because this would be a scalp trade based off the PTF. Let me just draw in some fib retracements real quick here. And okay, we're kind of close to a normal target. That target's smack in the middle of the gap. So you got to be careful if you're going to go short here. Where are you going to put your stop? If you put it at the top here, you definitely got the 2-to-1 to down to the target zone based on the PTF. But you're also so close to the market right now. You'd have a large trade size too. You're so close to the market right now that if it decides just to pop up a little higher into the target zone, you'll be stopped out. So that becomes the difficult part now, where to put the stop. I think you got to put it at least maybe 91, get it at least above here to give yourself a little room on that. So think about that. Okay. So I'm going to say, oh boy, I don't know if I would recommend this for everybody. I like the concept. I like the idea. I think a great short trade is coming. My question is stop loss placement. So I'm going to put SRPT, okay, as a short, but it's a little more risky, okay? All right, let's take a look at your next one, AXS. AXS. All right, right away, PTFs are red, and on the weekly and the 60-minute. So there's a lot. What I like about this one, this is a great example. So here's the target. That's what the PTF is saying. There's a 75% probability that during the next move down, we're going to take out that bottom. That's what it's saying. So when you show up to a chart like this and it is already rebounded, profit taking, whatever you call it, then there's a lot of white down here. There's a lot of profit potential here, right? That's kind of the best way to use the PTF for a scalp trade is wait for a nice retracement, profit taking, whatever you call it, and then catch it on the way down because that's what it's saying is going to happen. So stock needs to go up here, okay, right now. But there, you know, look at, there's your 2 to 1. Okay, you got the 2 to 1, if not more, right? So this looks really good. Don't forget, weekly chart. So this could take a year to get down there, but that's looking really good. All right, let's take a look at this bad boy here. Notice you got the pyramids going up, but they've all been stopped out. All right, so that's a good sign. And you've got red here, but the PTF is very close to prices here. So the only time frame I see a trade on is the weekly, and this would be a short trade to last for a while. Okay, so this is not a quick scalp. This is going to be a long-term scalp, so to speak. All right, but it's still a scalp because I call it a scalp because we use the PTF instead of a Elliott wave or fib retracement analysis. Okay, so that's okay long-term. Good job. All right, another one here, TXN. TXN. Let's see what we got cooking here on TXN. All right, so long. Okay, so you're thinking long here. All right, I would not take a long right now unless it was on the 60-minute time frame. That's the only place I see a long trade because you've got red here. So this bottom is not the final bottom. This is still coming down. There's a lot of momentum, okay? But you also have an exaggerated owl. So we're probably due for a little profit taking off that big move down. So let's figure out where things could go if you wanted to take a quickie, all right? So let's be careful about this. There's two possible areas, here and here. Okay, so 155 to 165, only 5 points away. All right, PTF's not, I'm going to say no go on this. I don't think there's enough profit. Then you'd have to put your stop pretty far. So I don't think you have the risk to reward on this one, okay, for a long trade. And I don't think it's a long trade that you can take for too long because of the red owl, or red PTF rather, sorry, on the daily chart, okay? All right, let's take a look at gold, GLD. Good one to look at, GLD. All right, so let's open up the weekly chart and look at that green PTF. Woo, okay, so what's it saying? Well, it's saying that we should get higher than here, okay? So that's a good sign. All right, let's take a look at the longer aspect of gold. So I declared this a wave 3 in 2011 and a wave 4 bottom here in 2016. This is all the next leg up, wave 5. Now, notice that the owls here have not gotten higher than the major owl here. So that still remains a wave 3. Could it change? Anything's possible. I don't think so, okay? So it looks like we're probably going to get more highs on gold. My target for gold is anywhere from like 210 up to maybe 220 on this one. So we got some room to go. Okay. All right. Now, do you want to go long yet? All right. Well, let's see what we got cooking here. We thought gold would come down here, and it did. Okay. All right. Came down here, made another high, came down again. Okay. Now the PTFs all turned yellow. So we're good to go there. And I would say my only thing is you got to put the stop pretty far under here, or at least under this price bar, because you're going to get a pullback. So let's just see more accurately. Let's open up to 60 and let's remove this for a minute. Okay, so let's remove that bad boy and see where this thing possibly could go. All right, so now you got a red owl. So here's my problem with gold short term is that we're probably going to get a pullback to around 179 to 175. Okay, so if you're trying to time this thing, you kind of want to wait. All right, wait for the pullback. Now, if you're long term and you don't care about 5 points or so, okay, fine. Go in, put your stop way down here. All right, and if we make it to the 220, you'll be fine. Okay. I personally would hold off a little bit on gold. Let's see if it comes down some. All right, it is pretty bullish. There's no question about it, but that 60-minute chart may give us an opportunity to get into the 170. So long-term buy, short-term, maybe better price. How's that for an answer? Okay. Let's take a look at silver real quick too, since we're on the metals. All right, and silver, you know, again, silver, I said we're not going to miss these, okay, because we're watching closely each and every week. Now, a lot of pundits were saying to get into silver when it was back around 26. All right, of course, we didn't think that was the greatest thing, and I think we did go long earlier than that, but got out because it faltered, it came down. All right, and now it's kind of going sideways again. So there's no rush to get into silver, in my opinion. Now, based on this, we've got a couple forms of technical analysis occurring here. One is simply called the pennant, okay, where you draw a pennant based on the structure of the price patterns. And usually, when prices get really compressed in the peak of the pennant, whichever way it bounces, it goes, okay, whether it's up or down. So that's one form of technical analysis. You've got a red momentum here. So we're still kind of meandering in here. We don't have any help from the PTF here. It's yellow. I wouldn't really call this a very robust move up, so to speak. I mean, I guess it is. Doubled its money and then came back. But on the scheme of things, if you look at all the history, you know, it just went to the retracement level. So what does that mean right now? Tough to say. I do think silver could have a bottom in, all right, at this point. Certainly could. We're going to watch it. So if we get a breakup out of that pennant, that's really bullish. Let's go over and take a quick look at, but you can see why I'm not saying you don't have to rush to get in it. All right, so we have a red PTF. So this says it's going to come down below 19, and that's going to put it at the lower part of the long-term pennant. Short term, it's going up. So how do you read this when you have red here and green here? Well, this is the short-term time frame, right? So this always comes before this, which is the daily. So we're going to go up first, satisfy the needs of the PTF, which is above here, so around maybe 22 or so. And then if this remains red and this turns yellow, then it goes neutral, then we're ready for a turnaround to head in the direction of the PTF on the daily. All right. So then we'll see what happens. So this is why I say you got time on silver. You don't have to rush in and get it right now. If you want to start accumulating it for a long-term play, all right, but the charts aren't indicating really it's necessary to do that in any big way right now. Okay. All right. I think I got to all of them. Boy, what a session, huh? All right. Almost an hour and 20 minutes. Woo. That's, I think, one of our longest. All right, good session. So we've got a number of stocks we found. The market's bullish. It looks like it's going to remain bullish. for a little while longer, as we kind of thought. We overall are bearish on the market over the next 12 months, bullish on the market right now because we're in a rally. All right, and we have not gone below the 31,400 mark on the Dow to indicate any super concern right now. So just stay with the current trend. So on the upside, Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin, I think there's a lot of controversy over Bitcoin, but Bitcoin to me is going to do well. It's doing well now, and it should do well during a huge market correction. Okay, so keep that in mind. BURL is good. Apple, AAPL, we recommended. INSW, SWBI for a long-term trade. LI. All right, NE based on the 60-minute chart, right? All right, GILD, long-term. SRPT for a short. And can't even read my own writing. I think it's AXS for a short, right? AXS. So that's kind of where we're at. All right, we on the watch list, we've got UNG, we've got ROCO, TLT, and URNM. And we want to watch that TLT bond fund because if there's some follow through on that, that's a good sign. But let's give it another week and see what happens. So when we meet back next week, we'll take a look at it. All right, so that looks like it's it for today. I want to thank everybody. You guys are awesome. All right, awesome picks today. So it took us a little over an hour, but we found some pretty decent trades going forward. And that's what it's all about, right? All right, so for fun, I'm going to shut the room down pretty early, okay, actually, because we kind of went over. So let me just maybe put this on the MES, and we'll keep it there. This is the day trading stuff, okay? So don't take any trades on this. I'll just put this up because it moves. You can see it moving, and it's kind of fun to watch as we close the room, okay? So there that is. You got bearish divergence, little critique on this. Bearish divergence here, so you wouldn't want to take a long trade, especially after so many pyramids. This pyramid did a great job capturing this big move up. But there you have it, okay? So that's kind of where it's at. All right, so that is it for today. My pleasure, everybody. We'll see you back next week. I'll put a little music on. And I'm going to have to close the room pretty quickly because we're getting around an hour and a half. Okay, it's about an hour and 22 minutes. All right, have a great weekend, and we'll see you back here next week. Thanks so much. Don't forget to give us a like. Give us a like. Much appreciated.